8:41 is our time. Welcome back to the Morning Drill. Joining us this morning is Melissa Mann from Drakewell Museum. Good morning, Melissa. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Been a couple months since we've talked to you.
It has. I think you've had our curator and our educator, and
it's been very enlightening.
I'm very happy to be back.
It's good to see you. I know there's been so much going on at the museum.
Now we have the administrator.
Yeah. We are. This is an exciting time of year for us. We're heading into our busiest season. August and September and October, the late summer and fall are always extremely busy for us. Yeah,
busier than like the school tours
Well, May's always busy with school tours, but we have school tours in October as well.
Really?
So that's a busy month for us, and then between August 1st and October 1st, we have 8 events.
Wow.
So
is it? You got the anniversary coming up at the end of August.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do people start to take interest at that point?
Yeah, we see a bump in our visitation really starting in June. So over the summer months, we get that normal bump. But in July and August are our largest visitation months. People really do like to come back and see it. We get a lot of those last hurrah family trips for the summer in August, and because it's our anniversary month, we have a lot going on. So I think it draws, it helps to draw more folks.
That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
You guys just wrapped up a week of camp. How was that?
Actually, we didn't get to have camp this year. No, we didn't have enough signups.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. We're figuring out what the people want, and we're going to try again next year.
Right. So if you're watching or listening, keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind. Yep,
Send the kids off for a week. Okay, so you're gearing up for the Drake Day Circus.
We are, August 27th, which is actually Drake Day this year. So we're excited to have the circus on the actual anniversary day.
So D-Day is Drake Day.
Yes, D-Day for us is Drake Day. Absolutely. We have Bacchanal. The troupe from Bacchanal Entertainment coming in again out of Detroit. They're such an excellent organization to work with. They are bringing this year, as you know, every year we try to change it up a little bit for the audience. This year we are having a tightrope walker.
Ooh.
So we're very excited about that. The fortune teller will be back, and we'll have all the regular magic and juggling and fire eating and the contortionist and all of that good circus stuff. And we are this year adding we've decided to go a different route with the animal portion of our circus, and we are bringing in Jungle Terry.
Really?
Yes, he will do 2 shows as well, looking at more exotic animals. Well, our petting zoo has always been very popular. They're animals that most kids in the region can see every day. So we were looking, that 19th century circuses were really about, kind of the exotic and the new things that people didn't get to see every day, and the unusual. Yeah. Exactly.
Like I'm not kidding. I paid, I don't know what it was, $5, $15 at the Crawford County Fair a couple years ago to see Rat Boy. Yeah, not. It was a guy in a diaper playing with rats.
Yeah.
I was like, how you doing?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that's what people really need to remember, that this is an authentic 19th century style circus.
Right.
And if you
Now, granted, we have limitations. We don't have juggling bears, or we don't have monkeys riding lions. We can't do those types of things. One, because animals are more protected today, which is a good thing. But also, it's for safety reasons for our public. We don't do those types of things. But we do try to work within the restrictions that we have to provide kind of those exotic experiences.
I'm glad the restrictions aren't too restrictive, because then the circus performers wouldn't be able to do anything.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot of things that kind of come with that age-old adage about don't try this at home.
Right.
Right.
But
yes, we do make sure the gentleman who puts nails in his skin and things like that he always says don't do this at home. when they eat fire, please don't do this at home.
But it is amazing to watch, and these guys are really good at what they do.
They're fantastic, and they're so great. They're so genuine, and they love what they do, and they're great in that, after they do 2 stage performances, one at 11 and one at 2, and in between those times they're walking around and talking to people and teaching kids how to juggle and do magic tricks. So they put in a full day. It's not just the stage show. So if your child is waiting in what can be sometimes a line to get their face painted, they're going to be entertained by somebody.
And it is amazing. I mean, it's not like these guys do the show and then they hide.
Right.
I mean, they're out talking to people.
Right.
They're interacting. They're even doing little tricks
they absolutely
one-on-one.
love what they do.
They
They're
do.
having fun
They do.
with this.
Absolutely, they do.
Well, that's exciting.
Yep, and we'll have all of the same kind of things this year that we have seen in the past. The popular dunk tank will be back. I'm trying to get out of sitting in it, but I probably will be sitting in it at some point.
Take one for the team.
Anybody who's wanting to dunk me, feel
By
free
the way,
to come by.
thank you for getting the memo on the blue shirt.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So that's coming up, and that's the
Yes.
event that you guys are really just finalizing and making sure everything's ready
Right.
for that.
Before that, we are actually, what we're getting ready for right now is the Drakewell Marathon.
Oh, wow.
So the Friends of Drakewell took over management of the Drakewell Marathon this year, and that is on August 7th. It is a fundraiser for the Drakewell site for our many different programs. And so this is the first year that we're doing it, and we've been learning a lot. I've never run a marathon.
Now, this is a Boston qualifier,
This
correct?
is a Boston qualifier. We have a great race director in Adam Peterson.
Yes.
He does fantastic work, and along with our staff, has been getting everything together. We currently have, I believe, just over 150 registrants.
Wow.
So it's gonna be a good day.
Now, with that money raised, what sort of things can you do with that?
Well, the board hasn't decided exactly what they're going to do with it, but it could go towards our educational programs. It could, and most likely will, because that's the mission of the Friends of Drakewell. But it could also go towards any help that we would need with perhaps conservation of artifacts and collections. All of the great historical things, professional museum things that we do at Drakewell. The Friends of Drakewell help us to raise money to be able to do those things.
It's 10 minutes to the top of the hour. 8:50 is our time. This is the Morning Drill on Stream Television and the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. So that's a big event.
It is a big event. We're still looking for some volunteers. So if anybody is interested in working at an aid station or an intersection directing traffic, please feel free to call the museum. We will find a spot for you.
Outside of the organization running the event, is pretty much everything else the same?
Yes.
It's going to be down at the Ed Meyer Complex?
It starts at Drakewell.
Okay.
As it did last year. Starts and finishes at Drakewell.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Yep.
And again, with having Mr. Peterson involved is
It's a blessing.
and he's got so much energy. He's somebody
Absolutely.
you can hand the baton to, and
you absolutely need somebody who is passionate about running and about that culture to help you run an event like this.
Yeah. All right. So that's going on. Drake Day Circus. Anything else in August?
Yes, we have a Something More Saturday, which is the Saturday of Oil Festival. And we will, I believe, be doing hands-on oil experiments for kids.
Oh, cool.
So anybody that comes in, Something More Saturday is pretty much what it's called. We try to offer just something unique that you can't get on a regular everyday visit. So we're looking at really pumping up the educational
So you're going to be busy blowing up chemistry kits that day.
Yeah, teaching kids how to build, what it takes to build a pipeline, getting out the PVC and the ping pong or the golf balls, and you need to get this from there to there, but there's a nature preserve in the middle. How do you do that? Kind of looking at the negotiations that, not only the science, but the negotiations and the business side of pipelines, but also, oil and water don't mix. Why is that? Just all kinds of things like that. Seismic. How do you find pockets of oil?
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The pipeline thing is interesting. There was just a column in the paper by David Spiegelmeier yesterday talking about the need for more pipelines. So it's interesting that the kids will be learning
We
about
very
that.
much try to tailor our educational program based on relevance to their lives today. What are the current affairs that are happening? What are people talking about in energy? What are the questions, the issues, and how does the history inform that? How can we take our historical story, our history and our stories, and inform what's going on, what they're dealing with in their, not even children, but all of our visitors, what they're dealing with in their everyday lives.
How much of fracking comes up during, or just a normal visit?
A normal visit?
I mean, do you have people who ask you as you're going through the tours?
Yeah,
do they
we'll
ask
talk
you?
About a lot of folks, we get a lot of folks who don't understand or have never, we take for granted because, I'm not from here, but this is what I do, but you all are from here. And you've learned about production and exploration and how wells work. A lot of people don't know that information, and so they'll ask, why do we have to frack? Why, how does it work? And that's a lot of what we discuss, and we talk about how while fracking is new to you and new to your experience, it's not a new phenomenon. It's almost every well in Pennsylvania has been fracked.
We've been doing it a while.
100 years we've been fracking, and so it's and it's a lot about getting that basic information about fracking, and then they can go and learn more, and then kind of enter this conversation about fracking.
It has to be exciting for you guys to have those interactions with the visitors, because they're taking an interest in what they're seeing.
It is,
or they hear these events out there, but
it's the fun part of our job. Honestly, I spend as the administrator, I spend a lot of time doing paperwork and fundraising and building community partnerships, which is also these are all good things that I do, but getting out and giving a tour is fun. It's the fun part, because we're all passionate about history. We're all passionate about teaching and educating, and so getting out there and being able to talk to folks and really say, well, look at it this way,
and so
or
much
look
of what
at it this way.
So much of what you have to show and to tell is all hands-on.
Right.
Touch this, feel this.
We are extremely lucky in that the majority of our artifacts can't be damaged because they're heavy and they're made of metal and they're bigger than you, and they would damage you before you would damage them.
Well, and here our artifact Mark is pretty well damaged.
Well, I came here damaged. So.
But we have the luxury of you can't go to an art museum and touch the paintings,
right,
or the sculptures, but you can come to Drakewell and touch just about everything.
And you do have paintings there too.
We do have paintings. You can't touch those, but yes, we do. We do have a lovely temporary exhibit up right now of the Esso art collection, the Standard Oil of New Jersey in the 1940s, commissioned artwork by American artists. Portraying different parts of the oil industry, and while the artwork in itself is fascinating and beautiful, the story behind it is extremely interesting in that it was a propaganda tool. They were trying to. It was the 1940s. They were getting bad press about their relationship with Germany, during World War II, and so they decided to do this for and they traveled it around to different places.
And these were well-known major artists,
right? Well-known major artists. I moved to Pennsylvania from Albuquerque, where I worked at the Albuquerque Museum of Art and History, and one of the paintings we had, as soon as I saw it, I knew that it was a famous Southwestern historian, and I was like, "That's a Peter Hurd. How did we get that here?" What's it doing here? Because it's a Southwest landscape, but it's the one that portrays geologists out in the desert.
I was looking at that the other night.
Out in the desert, looking for oil, and it's a fantastic piece.
I'm curious now. When did you first discover Drakewell yourself?
That would be, I think, around. Well, let's see. I moved to Pennsylvania in 2005. So it would have been 2005 because I'm museum obsessed. So that would have been, it was the first thing I did when I came here, was to see what the cultural organizations in the region were, and so it would have been 2005, 2006.
And that's the first you heard about Drakewell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At what point did you think, wow, this is quite amazing. This is like a little kept secret here that we need to really push.
I really enjoyed the museum because when I first visited it, because the outdoor exhibits are an experience that you can't often get at other types of museums. Just that immersion into production and the sounds and the smells and seeing oil coming up out of the ground. You can't get that in a lot of museums, and so I always really liked that. But when I started working for Oil 150, that was really when I really saw what a special site that it is, and the fact that it's the most important thing that we have at Drakewell. We have thousands. We have over 4,000 artifacts at Drakewell. But the most important one is the hole in the ground. And that is fascinating. It's 69.5 feet hole in the ground, which is a National Historic Landmark. That is the most important thing that we have.
And that changed the world.
And it changed everything. And that and kind of learning about how you may not think even as a kid that I don't drive, I don't have a car, I don't have anything, that it doesn't affect me, but you're using petroleum every single day and you don't even realize it.
By the way, my daughter just texted me and said that in reference to your remark about being an artifact, that the cavemen called and said that I was too old to be running around in loincloths. It scares people.
Well, Melissa, I do apologize because the lawyers have asked us, for Mom and Dad here, not to argue in front of our guests.
That's
so
okay.
I'm really sorry. Thanks for joining us. A fast segment as always, and there's so much more we want to discuss, but we'll talk to you.
We'll talk about September when I come back at the end of August.
There you go. Mark, what'd you learn today?
That I'm older than dirt.
And that's been carbon dated. Melissa, what'd you learn?
Well, that you're an antique, but we can still conserve you.
There you go.
Wow.
That's too deep for us at 69.5 feet. Have a great, what's today? Thursday, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Said, don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. Dealing card games with the old man in the club car. Penny a point.